Hi, this is Carol Stiles at the Bosch Kitchen Center at healthykitchens.com. Today I'd like to show you how we use our wonderful Bosch compact machine to make our favorite dessert here in this house, and that is carrot cake. I've been making carrot cake since I was 12 or 13 years old, and this is a recipe that came from the Waldorf Astoria, and it really works well in our compact machine, as you're going to see. Now I'm going to take it apart by pushing the button and lifting up the arm so that I can put in our whip. Now we're going to use the whip for doing cakes. Anything that you can pour, basically you do this. You also could use the cookie whisks, but I prefer the whisk because I want to get a nice light texture to my cake. Now I purposely stopped the machine so that the arm, when we put it in on a slant, because this is a planetary gear that goes all different directions as it goes around the bowl. So it goes in a slant, but I want you to know when I push the button here to lower the arm, the whip would hit the bowl. So when we use the any of the tools into this planetary gear, we're going to go over here and hold it on the P until it goes around, and it'll stop automatically in the right position. P for position. And that means that when I put it down, it's going to go right into the bowl without a problem. Alright, well, we're going to start our cake, and we're going to start it with a cup of white sugar and a cup of oil. This is our cold pressed canola oil that we have from Zagavi. And we're going to start by putting the whip down in there and turning it on to speed 3, just to get it started, and then up until speed 4 to get a really good whip. Now this is where you can add a splashing if you wish. That way nothing's going to splash out of the bowl. While it is going, we add in 3 eggs, one at a time. There's 1, 2, 3. And we're going to give this about a minute and a half to 2 minutes of just whipping. This is what makes the cakes light. You should give your ingredients with the liquid ingredients with the eggs lots of time to beat so that we'll get a nice light texture to the cake. Okay, we've had our mixture beating for about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. We've got a nice light lemony texture to our beating. I purposely stopped the machine with the whip facing out to the front, and we're just going to pull the splash ring off and push the button, and if we lift it, it would hit the side of the bowl. So what we're going to do is, again, we hold it on the P, and that will take it around so it'll stop in the right position, because that's what P means. And you can see the nice lemony color that we've got there from the sugar, the oil, and the egg yolks. Now I had pre-sifted the dry ingredients, so in my bowl I have here 1½ cups of white flour. You could substitute the whole grain mixture that you can do with your spelt and brown rice and pearl barley, where you use 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and you get a really nice whole grain all-purpose flour that you could use for this as well. But I've got 1½ cups of white in here. I have 1 1⅓ teaspoons of baking powder, 1⅓ teaspoons of baking soda, and a ½ teaspoon of salt, along with 1⅓ teaspoons of cinnamon. So that's all been pre-sifted here, and I'm going to put it in the bowl all at once. Okay. Now we don't have to mix this in very long for doing a cake in this, so we'll just turn it on speed 2 and let the flour mix in, and we'll stop it in just a few seconds. We've stopped the machine with the whip still in it, and I'm going to now use the slicer shredder to put the grated carrots and nuts in with it. Now the slicer shredder attachment is actually 2 main parts. It has the housing bottom here, and to which we add the blade. Now I've chosen this blade, which is the fine grate pointing up. It also flips over to the thick grate if you were going to do something like mozzarella cheese for pizza. I'm going to use it a little later for the nuts for this recipe. You also get a very, very fine grating blade with this particular attachment that will let you do Parmesan or anything that's really hard. I like to use it with potatoes for making a raw potato pancake with it, or some of the European type dumplings are done with the shredded potato. Then it also has a thick and thin slice blade that it flips over, and that's nice for doing bread and butter pickles with cucumbers or scalloped potatoes. And then finally there's the lid with the pusher. Now when we use the slicer shredder for the compact, we select the blade that we want, and I've got the fine grate blade pointing up. We're just going to drop it onto the unit, and I want to point out that there's a little arrow right there on the lid, and it's also the matching one here on the housing. And so what we do is we point the two arrows at each other and just give it a little turn so that the little circle on the lid is lining up with the arrow, and that makes certain that it's locked in place. We then put it on the top here. The top part of our unit is the drive for the slicer shredder, and it has a cap that comes off when you're going to use it. So we're going to take it off and pop this down inside there. I'm getting the square peg in the round hole, there we go. And so I've got the whip still in the bowl, I've got the slicer shredder on the top, and I'm going to grate the carrots right into the mixture while the whip is turning, okay? So in other words, we're not just grating the carrots, or we're not just whipping, we're doing both at the same time. And I'm using 4 medium-sized carrots to do this. We want about 2 cups of shredded carrots. I'm going to put it in here, okay? All the way in. Go a little faster here, obviously. And you can see it all go very neatly right into the bowl. Okay, so now there'll be a little bit left on the bottom because we don't have the pusher go all the way down to the bottom, or we chew the end of the pusher up. And I'm just going to take out the 3-4 larger chunks here that won't get grated because of that. And I'm going to flip the blade over. So just take it and flip it over. And this is what we're going to do the nuts through on. I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of walnuts. And again, we're going to line up the arrows and lock it in place. I have 1/2 cup of walnuts, and I want to chop. So instead of standing there and chopping nuts, which to me is a lot of work and really not necessary, I'm going to take my 1/2 cup of walnuts, drop them in the chute here, and then just push them through while it is mixing everything into it. So there I've got my nuts added into it, and it's all mixed in at the same time, and it pushes through some of the carrots that we've gotten left in the back of it as well. So if I take this off, you can see that I've got all my mixture into the bowl. I will tip it so you can see. I'm just going to give it a couple more mixes to get the little bit that came out the end there mixed in as well. And we have our carrot cake made. Very, very simple, very, very easy. Now this recipe will make enough for 2 8-inch pans, and I've already sprayed my 8-inch pans with Vaseline here. And we'll again position. This one's already at the back, so it isn't going to move. And we'll lift up our hook and pull it out gently. And I just give it a couple of little taps, and everything comes off. I want to get every little bit of cake batter into my pan. Okay. Very easy to handle because of this wonderful cuff all the way around the edge of the bowl. So we'll put half of the mixture into this pan, and half of the mixture into the second pan, as I'm making a 2-layer cake. Here it is. Always one you get a little more than the other in. I'm never great at portioning them out, but try to get the same amount in each pan. Now this cake bakes at a very low oven temperature at 300 degrees for about an hour. Okay, so it's a slow baking cake, and when it comes out, we let it cool off, and then we ice it with our wonderful cream cheese icing that also is included in the recipe, and it's just done again with the whips with our Bosch compact. So there we have wonderful carrot cake, about 5 minutes. Very, very easy to make and really, really tasty. Here's our finished carrot cake now. The two of them all baked now for about an hour at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Of course, we test it by putting a toothpick in to make certain it comes out nice and clean. It's my husband's birthday today, so this will be perfect for his birthday cake tonight. What we do is we let them cool for about 15 to 20 minutes, and when they're still warm, I run a knife around it and turn the cake out, and then let it cool completely before we ice it with the cream cheese icing. If you have any questions on using our Bosch Compact for mixing or grating and slicing, please don't hesitate to phone our toll-free number. It's 1-888-735-1044. Thanks again for watching.